When it comes to pricing projects and giving people estimates, I recommend giving people options. And what I mean by that is most guys out there are, when they do an estimate or a bid, they just give one option, one price, one bid. And so the client only has two options. They can take it or leave it. And there's a few reasons why this isn't the best way to do it. Now, maybe sometimes it's appropriate, just give them one bid. That's all good. But if it's a bigger project, if it's a big deck, if it's a kitchen, they're going to have options. And I'll tell you a quick story of what prompted me to start doing this. So a long time ago, many years ago, I was bidding for a kitchen remodel. And I think the bid came out like 60 to 70,000. And we didn't end up getting that job. And I circled back around with that person and I just approached them and I wanted to find out why didn't we get that job. And it turns out that we bid too low. This guy had it in his mind that he wanted a $100,000 kitchen and we only bid 70,000. And so in his mind, he wasn't getting the contractor for him. So he ended up with going with someone else that had a higher bid. And that's the opposite of what most people think happens. Like most contractors I talk to, and I've been guilty of this myself, they're always knocking the price down. You know, they come out with this estimate and you're like, oh man, that's a lot of money. I really want this job. Like, let's cut some costs here. Let's cut some here. And they're always trying to make the bid lower. But sometimes that's the opposite of what you need to do for a certain client. So here's what I propose. Have different levels. Give people options. We do this all the time in the web design and marketing industry. It's really hard to get a website proposal where you don't have different options. Usually you have three tiers. You'll have like a high, a low, and a mid tier. And you can do the same thing with your remodeling or building estimates. You can have two options, you can have three options, but say you're pricing a kitchen remodel. Maybe you have one option that's got all the most high-end finishes, all the most trick stuff that you can offer. And that's the high price. And then you've got the budget price, which is the low one, where you're just doing the bare minimum. And then you've got the mid-range, which is exactly what the client said they wanted. And this way, when somebody looks at these things, there's psychology that goes into pricing things like this. This is why when you go to like a store or a high-end boutique or something like that, they'll always have like something sitting, something at one price sitting right next to something with a price that's like 5 times higher, so that you look at that 5 times higher price and you're like, dang, that's really expensive. And now all of a sudden the other price looks really attractive. And it's the same thing with your estimates. If you've got a $100,000 kitchen remodel priced out sitting next to a $70,000 kitchen remodel, and then you got a $50,000, which is like the bare minimum. It doesn't have everything that they asked for, but that's like the bare minimum. Now they've got some things to compare it to, and that mid-grade $70,000 kitchen remodel is looking pretty good right now because it's not $100,000, but it's also not the cheapest option. So people feel like they're getting a good deal, but they're also getting all the things that they want. And occasionally you'll have that person that wants the best of the best of the best all the time. And one way they determine if it's the best is that it's the most expensive. So by having that super expensive option, you're not pricing yourself out of getting those clients who only want the high-end stuff, like I did that one time. So hopefully that's helpful. If you've got anything to say about this, throw it in the comments section, and good luck with your bidding.